Welcome once again to tonight's presentation. Welcome once again for tonight's presentation at this hour where we shall be looking at something important. But before then, I would like to say I'm so happy having you again for tonight's presentation. I'm called Ku Donald Vichas. You are presenter for tonight, and the topic for our discussion tonight, the topic that we shall be looking at tonight is revealing productive assets for personal growth. Revealing productive assets for personal growth. It is true that a lot of times we find ourselves in challenging moments, in difficult moments, and during those moments we don't get to know what we can be able to use as our assets, as personal assets, in order to overcome such difficulties. So, as just like an investor affords assets so as to achieve the right returns of investment in his or her business, you equally as an individual, you can also acquire personal assets that will enable you acquire the right result, the right productive results that you desire at the end of the day. So each and every one of us get to have these assets which become important, and as we keep on investing in these assets, we get to prepare for the future in order to overcome the future challenges by using the personal assets which are very important. And so assets will be looked at as we shall be able to identify the categories of assets which has to do with you having the internal assets and that of the external assets, which when properly used productively will generate results. Be you a professional, be you a student, be you a youth leader, be you an employee, no matter how good you are, you should learn how to maximize your internal assets and your external assets, which these are those assets that will keep you working on your goals and equally help you overcome future challenges. Now, let's look at how your internal assets can influence your growth. So we will begin by looking at the internal assets which can be able to influence your growth. By looking at the internal assets, we shall be focusing on the assets of resilience, the asset of resilience. This is so important. Remember, I earlier said by revealing these productive assets, it will go a long way to help you as a professional in order to overcome those moments wherein find challenges, wherein you find difficulties, and you are able to use these assets in order to become productive, in order to keep on focusing on that particular goal that you are building. And with this internal asset, this has to do with that which comes from within you. So it comes from those important things, those important assets that you have from within that can help you achieve your goal over a period of time, and it can also help you overcome the challenging moments. So looking at the resilient asset, this is the mental ability of you as an individual, of you as a professional, of you as a student, of you as a youth leader to be able to identify and quickly recover from the depression or from the hardship or from the challenge that you are currently going through. So when you build this resilient asset, each time challenges come, you are able to this same asset, which becomes your internal asset, in order to overcome the present challenge. And how do you do this? It should be noted that those who give up in life, those who give up in their education, those who give up in their career, find it difficult to maximize or to invest time in building this same asset. And as a result of that, you realize that those who have actually mastered the arts of building this asset and investing in this asset, they have been able to yield return of investment from their assets by actually focusing on not only the challenge, because they believe that no matter how hard the challenge is, there is always a way out. There is always a way forward. Some people actually don't give up, but they analyze the problem, and of course, at the end of the day, they discover possible opportunities out of the challenge. And these assets of resilience help you to understand what you can be able to control in your growth process by mentally focusing on how you respond to those challenges, by making the right decision, by taking the right step, by moving towards the right path, and being productive in your personal life. The second point that we shall be looking at is for you to be able to have the assets of gratitude. The assets of gratitude. It is commonly said, it is popularly said that an ungrateful heart is not ready for the next level. An ungrateful heart is not ready for the next level in life, in career, in business, in relationship, in whatever domain that you find yourself. And it is true for those who have not yet mastered this particular internal asset. Remember, we are looking at the productive assets which can help you succeed in that career, succeed in that domain where you find yourself. And now this asset of gratitude tells us that the more you get to invest in giving gratitude in whatever thing that you do, and how do you give this gratitude? How do you show gratitude towards the little things, towards the things that matter? Is that each time you achieve your goal, maybe for a day, learn how to celebrate yourself, learn how to congratulate yourself, learn how to be grateful for the energy that you have been able to put in that particular goal, and you are able to achieve it. You can be grateful for the successes of others too. You can be grateful for a day well spent. Somebody once said you can be grateful for even the air that you breathe. And despite the fact that you are currently going through challenges, which is something that a lot of young people get to face in life, the more you get to be grateful for the things that you have been able to do in the past, that is how you generate the energy on how to continuously understand that no matter the present challenge, like we saw in our resilience, you can be able to overcome it because you actually overcame such challenges in the past, such difficulties in the past. So the more you get to invest in these assets of gratitude, when challenges come, when you reach at that level where you don't know which direction to take, the more you get to build these assets of gratitude, the more you get to invest in these assets of gratitude, you will always be surprised by the level of returns of investment that you will have. You can be grateful for the fact that you have data to follow this presentation right now. That is something you should be grateful for the little successes that you have in life. And of course, the more you get to do that, the more returns of investments you have in your career, in your personal life, as a young person, as a student, as an employee, or whatever domain that you find yourself. Now, let's move to our third point for today, which has to do with proactive assets. Proactive assets. With this proactive asset, one great man also said, excuses do not produce result. And a lot of people who get to react, because the opposite of proactiveness is reactive. So if you find yourself generating negative energy, that is when you get to react. That is when you get to portray the liability part of you actually facing the current situation where you find yourself. So the more you get to plan ahead, the more you get to act ahead, the more you get to stay ahead. That is how you can be able to overcome the present moments, because you have been able to proactively foresee that this is how you can be able to do in order to overcome that difficult moment, in order for you to keep on going ahead, in order for you to keep on yielding the productive results that are required for your personal life. And so how do you do this? You get to set down goals, you look towards those goals in the future, and you can continuously invest on better strategies, better ways on how to achieve these goals by making it possible that each time you encounter challenges, each time you encounter difficulties, you are able to ask yourself one question: how can you overcome this? How can this become a productive way for you to actually become more successful? And the more you get to ask yourself questions and you provide relevant answers to the questions, you will realize that that is how you always be championing in your domain, and you get to act before time by studying, creating system, acting on your thoughts, not only thinking by looking at how you can actually achieve your goals, but you actually work on your thoughts. You actually set an action plan on your thoughts over a period of time, and that is how you get to grow. Just like in this picture, you see two great guys trying to pull a bull, but it's not moving. But a proactive guy thinks ahead, acts ahead, and why not moves ahead. So the more you get to be proactive, the more you get to set these assets of being proactive ahead, this is how you continuously move ahead. You continuously champion your goals, and that is what we are looking at tonight. Remember, we are looking at the topic revealing productive assets for personal growth, and we are focused on our internal assets for today's presentation. The last but not the least point for this presentation has to do with the assets of self-care. Assets of self-care. Remember, assets is something that you get to invest in, and you will be able to yield, that's the return of investment from your assets. And the more you get to focus on yourself, the more you get to care about yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, by doing those things that will enhance your growth. It becomes your responsibility as a professional. It becomes your responsibility as a student. It becomes your responsibility as a youth leader in that domain where you find yourself to continuously do those things that will enable you to take care of yourself. It becomes your responsibility, for example, to eat the right food, to do the right exercises, to listen to the right information. By focusing on this presentation, it means that you are taking care of your future by following this presentation, and of course, reading the right books, enhancing your mental capacity by reading and by studying the right materials, reading the right books, and of course, like I earlier said, do the right exercises. And the more you get to do this, that's the more you get to grow in your domain. That is the more you get to achieve your results. You get to achieve your goals. And why not becoming productive? And the more you get to drink enough water, you would be keeping the body constantly in more motion. And why not becoming better? These assets will enable you discover your strengths and your weaknesses. And of course, the more you get to focus on your weaknesses, you try to see how you can actually overcome those weaknesses. That is where you would be able to continuously move ahead of that career, of that goal, of that dream that you are building. And of course, that is what will move you ahead one step at a time. Conclusively, the more you get to understand your personal assets, the more your energy spent on those particular goals. Remember, we are just looking at these assets, and the more you get to focus on those productive results, that those assets that will yield productive results in the future. That is where you get to take out time to examine what you can be able to do and what you like about it, what you don't like, and how you can actually overcome the present challenges. And of course, be it in your career, be it in your relationship, be it in business, be it in whatever domain that you find yourself. But I'm really focused on young people who are startup in their careers, because that is where I am based. That is where I am specialized in productivity strategies in career. And for you to be able to achieve this goal, that is for you to be able to continuously look out on those moments that you find things challenging, you find difficulties, and of course, you are able to identify which particular assets to use in that domain for you to be able to achieve your goals. Remember, we were looking at this topic, revealing productive assets, and we were focused on the internal assets, which has to do with the first point of resilience, the second point of assets of gratitude, the third point proactive assets, and why not the last point, self-care. The more you get to do this, the more you get to find yourself excelling ahead. And of course, we have been able to look at how you can be able to achieve these particular assets, and of course, yielding the right returns of investment over a period of time. Thank you for following so much. For this presentation was brought to you by Ku Donald Vichas, like I earlier said, your productivity strategies. And I'm so grateful, I'm so happy, I'm so overwhelmed having you always at my YouTube channel to follow presentations at this hour. I'm so thankful. And I really plead with you, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find this content relevant to your personal growth, to your personal life. And of course, you can share it to those you think that and you believe that it can be able to access or help them achieve their goals. You can be able to bless somebody with this same presentation. Then you can kindly share. Please thumbs up for this presentation if you find it relevant, and of course, like I earlier said, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, and your contributions highly count. Always send your contributions and I'll reply. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful once again.